The honey-glazed hem sat untouched in front of me while my father explained, yet again, why my career choices disappointed him. Maya, you're 30 years old, he said, passing the sweet potato casserole to my sister. When are you going to stop playing with computers and get a real job? I was the founder and CEO of SecureNet Technologies, a cybersecurity firm specializing in AI-powered threat detection. We had 73 employees, contracts with Fortune 500 companies, and last quarter's revenue had hit $47 million. My family knew none of this. Dad's right, my older sister Lauren said, accepting the casserole with a sympathetic smile. I'm not trying to be harsh, but you're still working from home in your pajamas. That's not exactly a career. Lauren was 28 and worked as a file clerk at a mid-sized accounting firm. She made $38,000 a year, lived with our parents, and had just been promoted to senior file clerk, a title that came with a $2,000 raise. Our parents had thrown her a celebration dinner last week. At least Lauren has stability, Mom chimed in. Benefits, paid time off, a retirement plan. What do you have, Maya? My phone buzzed in my pocket. I ignored it. I have a sustainable business, I said quietly. A business? My father snorted. You've been doing this for 5 years and you still work from your apartment. If it was successful, you'd have an office by now. We had offices in Seattle, Austin, and London. I worked from home because as CEO I preferred it. How much are you even making? Lauren asked. Because my salary might not be huge, but at least it's steady. I got a bonus last month. $500. My annual compensation last year had been worth approximately $8.3 million. I do fine, I said. Fine isn't enough, Dad said. Your grandfather worked in manufacturing for 40 years. I've been a construction foreman for 35. Lauren has a real position at a respected firm. And you play on computers. My phone buzzed again. Then again. Maya, please put that away, Mom said. It's Easter. Family time. I pulled out my phone to silence it and saw 3 messages from my CFO. Microsoft contact just called. They want to move faster. New offer incoming. They're serious. Call me when you can. This is getting real. My heart rate picked up. For 6 months, we'd been in negotiations with Microsoft. They wanted to acquire SecureNet to integrate our AI threat detection into their enterprise security suite. Apparently something had changed. See, Dad said, gesturing at my phone. Can't even put it down for one family meal. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're obsessed with this computer stuff instead of building a real life. Lauren squeezed my hand. We're just worried about you. You're smart, you could get a real job if you tried. I could ask at my firm if they're hiring. That's wonderful. Mom said. Maya, wouldn't that be nice? Working with Lauren, having a proper job. My phone rang. Not a text, an actual call. Sarachan, my CFO. I need to take this, I said, standing. Maya, sit down, Dad commanded. It's Easter Sunday. Whatever it is can wait. Dad, I really need. No. He slammed his hand on the table. This is the problem. You think your little computer games are more important than your family. I don't think I'm too good. Then prove it. Put the phone away. Lauren was watching with sad eyes. Maybe it's an addiction, Maya. Screen addiction is real. There are programs. I'm not addicted to my screen, I said evenly. This is my job. Your job, Dad said using air quotes. My phone rang again. Sarah calling back. This time I answered. Maya, Sarah said urgently. Where are you? Family Easter lunch, I said, walking toward the kitchen. Maya. Dad called after me. Get back here. Microsoft just sent a revised offer, Sarah continued. They're willing to move to an all-cash deal. Maya, they're offering $2.4 billion. I stopped walking. Billion with a B? Billion with a B. They want an answer by Tuesday. Maya, this is it. $2.4 billion. My stake was 67%. After taxes, I'd walk away with roughly $1.1 billion. I'll be on the first flight to Seattle, I said. When I returned to the dining room, my family was discussing Lauren's upcoming performance review. And I might make senior file clerk level 2 by next year, Lauren was saying. It's really competitive. We're so proud of you, sweetheart, Mom said. I sat down and calmly cut into my ham. Feel better now that you've handled your emergency? Dad asked sarcastically. Actually, yes, I said. I need to fly to Seattle tomorrow. On Easter Monday? Mom looked scandalized. Maya, that's a holiday. It's important. More important than family? Dad's face was reddening. It's an acquisition meeting, I said quietly. What? Lauren asked. Another company wants to buy my company. The table went quiet. Then Dad laughed. Someone wants to buy your little hobby? How much? Couple $1,000s. A bit more than that. What? 10,000? 20. He was chuckling. My phone buzzed. Sarah, Bloomberg already got wind of it. Prepare for press. The offer is $2.4 billion, I said calmly. All cash. The silence was profound. Lauren's fork clattered against her plate. Mom's hand froze. Dad's smile vanished. $2.4 billion, I repeated. Microsoft is acquiring SecureNet Technologies for $2.4 billion in an all-cash transaction. That's not possible, Dad said. It's very possible. We've been in negotiations for 6 months. They want our AI threat detection platform. The preliminary agreement should hit the press tomorrow. Microsoft, Mom whispered. The Microsoft? There's only one, I said. Lauren stared at me. Your computer hobby is worth $2 billion? It's not a hobby. It's a cybersecurity firm. We have 73 employees, offices in 3 countries, and contracts with 18 Fortune 500 companies. Last quarter's revenue was $47 million. Dad's face had gone pale. $47 million in a quarter? Yes. But you work from home. In your pajamas. These are comfortable clothes. And I work from home because as CEO I can work from wherever I want. I have a corner office in Seattle I've used maybe 5 times. CEO, Lauren repeated faintly. You're a CEO? Founder and CEO. I started the company 5 years ago. We've grown 340% year-over-year since launch. Mom was shaking her head. But we thought you worked on computers. I do work on computers. I built an AI system that predicts and prevents cyber attacks. The Pentagon uses our software. So does NASA. And now Microsoft wants to integrate it into their security suite. My phone rang again. David Park, our lead investor. I need to take this, I said. It's my board chair. I answered in the kitchen. David. Why? Congratulations. This is incredible. Better than we projected. It's a good offer. Your family must be thrilled. I glanced at the dining room. They're surprised. Maya, you're about to become one of the youngest self-made billionaires in tech. Forbes is already calling. So is TechCrunch. Can we keep it quiet until the paperwork is signed? Too late. Someone at Microsoft leaked. It's already on Twitter. Business Insider just published. When I returned, Lauren had her phone out. Maya, there's an article. Business Insider. Microsoft acquires cybersecurity unicorn SecureNet Technologies for $2.4 billion. She looked up pale. It says the founder and CEO Maya Patel, age 30, will become one of the youngest billionaires in tech. Billionaire, Dad repeated numbly. With a 67% stake, Patel's personal proceeds are estimated at $1.1 billion after taxes, Lauren read. The deal represents one of the largest cybersecurity acquisitions in history. Mom's hand covered her mouth. There's more, Lauren continued. Maya Patel founded SecureNet 5 years ago after completing her PhD in computer science at MIT. You have a PhD? Mom whispered. From MIT. You knew I went to graduate school. You said you were studying computers. I was. Computer science. Artificial intelligence applications in cybersecurity. Dad still hadn't moved. Lauren kept reading. SecureNet's platform has prevented several major cyber attacks on critical infrastructure. The Department of Defense, NASA, and multiple Fortune 500 companies rely on SecureNet's technology. She lowered her phone. You work with the Department of Defense? And NASA. Also Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Amazon Web Services, and several others I can't disclose. This can't be real, Lauren said. Maya works from home. She wears sweatpants. I have business cards. I just don't need them often. Most networking happens at industry conferences. Industry conferences, Mom repeated faintly. Yes. RSA conference, black hat, DEF CON. I've been a keynote speaker at several. My phone buzzed. Sarah. Microsoft CEO just tweeted about the acquisition. You're officially viral. I pulled up Twitter. Satya Nadella had posted. Excited to welcome SecureNet Technologies and the brilliant Maya Patel to the Microsoft family. Her vision for AI-powered security will help protect millions worldwide. It had 47,000 retweets in 15 minutes. Your phone won't stop buzzing, Mom said quietly. It's going to be like this for a while. Major acquisitions generate press. Dad finally spoke. When you said you worked on computers, we thought you meant data entry. I know what you thought. But you're a billionaire. I will be once the deal closes. Just the so, Lauren said, her voice breaking. Maya, I made senior file clerk last week. Head cake. Dad gave a speech about how proud he was. Your promotion is legitimate, Lauren. You worked hard. I got a $2,000 raise. You're getting $1 billion. Different industries, different career paths. But we thought you were struggling, Mom said, tears forming. I know. You let us think that, Dad said, anger creeping in. You sat here letting us lecture you. Letting us feel sorry for you. I tried to tell you, I said firmly. Every time I mentioned my company you called it a hobby. You didn't want to hear it. You should have made us listen. How? You'd already decided who I was. Nothing I said would have changed that. My phone rang. Microsoft Corporate M&A. I need to take this, I said. Maya, don't you dare, Dad started. I answered. This is Maya Patel. Ms. Patel, this is Jennifer Morrison from Microsoft's M&A team. We'd like to schedule a call for 6 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Will you be available? I'll be on a plane. Can we make it 9 a.m. once I land? Perfect. We'll send a car to the airport. Mr. Nadella would like lunch as well if your schedule permits. I'll make it work. I hung up and looked at my family. Satya Nadella wants to have lunch with you, Dad said flatly. Apparently. The CEO of Microsoft. Yes. The Easter ham had gone cold. Nobody was eating. I need to pack, I said standing. My flight leaves at 6 a.m. Maya, please, Mom said. Stay. We need to talk. Talk about what? The fact that you spent 5 years dismissing my career? Or that you only care now because there's a dollar amount you can understand? That's not fair, Dad said. Isn't it? Last week you suggested I get a job at Lauren's firm. As an assistant. You thought I needed career advice from my younger sister who makes $40,000 a year. Lauren flinched. You told me I was wasting my life. That I needed to get a real job. You said this was a hobby. We didn't know, Mom said. You didn't ask, I corrected. You could have asked what I did. You could have Googled my company. But you didn't. You decided I was a failure. We're sorry, Lauren said, her voice breaking. I know you are. Now. Dad stood. What do you want from us, Maya? An apology? You have it. Is that enough? I don't want anything from you, I said quietly. I stopped wanting your approval 3 years ago. Don't say that, Mom pleaded. I built $1 billion company while you thought I was unemployed. Do you know how that felt? My phone rang. CNBC. I answered. Ms. Patel, we'd love to have you on Squawk Box tomorrow morning. Would 7 a.m. work? I'll be in transit, but I can do remote from the airport lounge. Perfect. And congratulations. This is incredible. Thank you, I said. Unlike my family, this stranger meant it. I have to go, I said. I have $1 billion deal to close. When will we see you again? Mom asked. I don't know. I'll be busy. Press tours, investor meetings, integration planning. It's going to be intense. But you'll call? Dad asked, vulnerable for the first time. Maybe. When I have time. I walked to the door, then paused. For what it's worth, I was proud of your promotion, Lauren. I still am. You worked hard for it. Lauren was crying now. I wish you'd felt the same way about me, I said. Before the $1 billion exit. I left them sitting at the Easter table, surrounded by cold ham and the shattered remains of their assumptions. The next morning, as my car drove toward the airport at 5 a.m., my phone buzzed with a text from Dad. We watched you on CNBC. You were amazing. We're so proud. I stared at the message, then deleted it without responding. Proud. They were proud now. when I was on national television discussing billion-dollar deals with one of the largest companies in the world. Not 5 years ago when I was working 18-hour days to build something from nothing. Not 3 years ago when we landed our first Fortune 500 client. Not last year when Forbes profiled me. No. When the validation came from Microsoft's checkbook. I put my phone away and watched Seattle's skyline come into view. At the airport, I did the CNBC interview from the executive lounge. The anchor asked about my journey, my vision, my advice for young entrepreneurs. The people who doubt you most are often closest to you, I said. But their doubt doesn't define your worth. Your work does. After the interview, I boarded my first-class flight to Seattle. The flight attendant recognized me from the morning news. "Congratulations on your acquisition, Miss Patel," she said warmly. "Thank you," I said. "Some people would never see your value until someone else paid for it. That was their loss, not mine." "I have to go," I said. "I have a billion-dollar deal to close." "When will we see you again?" Mom asked. "I don't know. I'll be busy. Press tours, investor meetings, integration planning. It's going to be intense." "But you'll call?" Dad asked, vulnerable for the first time. "Maybe. When I have time." I walked to the door, then paused. "For what it's worth, I was proud of your promotion, Lauren. I still am. You worked hard for it." Lauren was crying now. "I wish you'd felt the same way about me," I said. Before the billion-dollar exit. I left them sitting at the Easter table, surrounded by cold ham and the shattered remains of their assumptions. The next morning, as my car drove toward the airport at 5 a.m., my phone buzzed with a text from Dad. "We watched you on CNBC. You were amazing. We're so proud." I stared at the message, then deleted it without responding. Proud. They were proud now. When I was on national television discussing billion-dollar deals with one of the largest companies in the world. Not 5 years ago when I was working 18-hour days to build something from nothing. Not 3 years ago when we landed our first Fortune 500 client. Not last year when Forbes profiled me. No. When the validation came from Microsoft's checkbook. I put my phone away and watched Seattle's skyline come into view. At the airport, I did the CNBC interview from the executive lounge. The anchor asked about my journey, my vision, my advice for young entrepreneurs. "The people who doubt you most are often closest to you," I said. "But their doubt doesn't define your worth. Your work does." After the interview, I boarded my first-class flight to Seattle. The flight attendant recognized me from the morning news. "Congratulations on your acquisition, Miss Patel," she said warmly. "Thank you," I said. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Lauren. "Maya, I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because of the money. Because we never listened. We never saw you." I read it twice, then typed back, "I know. Nothing more. Just acknowledgement." She responded immediately, "Can we try again? Someday?" I looked out the window at the clouds below. 5 years of dismissal. 5 years of being treated like a failure. 5 years of sitting at Easter dinners while they celebrated Lauren's modest achievements and ignored mine entirely. "Could we try again? Someday," I typed. "But not today." The plane leveled off at cruising altitude. I opened my laptop and reviewed the acquisition documents Sarah had sent overnight. Hundreds of pages of legal terms, valuations, integration timelines. This was my real family now. The company I'd built. The team I'd assembled. The investors who'd believed in me when my own parents wouldn't. Some people would never see your value until someone else paid for it. That was their loss, not mine.